Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly meeting for SkillBridge RE. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Zor Morales. I'm an alumni of the program. Went through it about 2 years ago, and now my wife and I are doing real estate in Hawaii and loving it. We have a special guest today. We have Mr. Maskins. Just kidding. He's one of my good friends that's in the program. He's going to be doing real estate in California. He's also going to be an airline pilot, but just wanted to call him out, embarrass him a little bit.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Zara. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. So today we'll be talking about lead generation at blank. So let me just drop this presentation in the chat box. You guys can follow along with it. I won't be doing share screen. And I'm also going to drop the link for the topic request survey. And if anyone wants to request a certain topic for me to talk about, otherwise I'll just continue to talk about test prep, getting licensed, and the importance of lead generation. All right, so does everyone have that presentation in their chat box?
There. The more times I do it, it's like a muscle.
All right. Did you go through Maskins? All right, thumbs up. Thank you. So as you see on that first slide, lead generation at blank. So you can do lead generation anywhere. And the three examples that I'm going to talk about and kind of go into detail of what happened with those three scenarios, because they do have some valuable learning points. A lot of times people avoid talking about the profession that they're in because they want to be a secret agent. They don't want to seem like a salesperson. But in these scenarios, I'll kind of cover how you don't have to be, a pushy person. You can be just to be yourself and just have conversations with people, and lots of good things can come from that, and benefiting you with your real estate business and helping others with making their dreams come true. So the first example that I have, so I happened to be doing lead generation at my dental appointment one day by surprise. So I was going in to get a tooth looked at. I need to get a cap on one of my molars. I was talking with the dentist. She asked me she was making small talk, like I wasn't even the one really driving the conversation. She asked me if I was going to be on island long enough to have the cap put on because I was on my way out of the Marine Corps. And I was like, yeah, I'm actually going to be staying here for good, getting into real estate. Do you want to buy a house? And just kind of jokingly said that. And she's like, yeah, actually, we've been waiting for base housing, and they're telling us it's going to be like a year before we get a house. So we actually were throwing around the idea of buying a house. Just had a couple late joins in the group. I'm just going to drop the presentation one more time in the chat box. And so I told her that I was getting into real estate and actually had a few business cards on me, handed her a business card. And then there's a little bit of a nurturing process that happened after that. But long story short, about 4 months later, had a closing with that client. Her and her family bought a house in Neva Beach for 1.325 million, which makes for a nice commission. And she's also referred clients to me after that. And all that came from just that small conversation. And so a lot of people ask, like, how do you do lead generation? What are the good websites to go to pull in leads? How do you have those conversations? How do you cold call, all that stuff? And that was as of last year, that was our biggest sale, 1.325 million, and it came from just going to my dental appointment. So lessons learned from that, just being ready to have a conversation, like make jokes about how you're in real estate and you're happy to help anybody. Like, it's really not that difficult to present that in conversation. It doesn't have to come off as a pushy salesperson type thing. The next one originated from when I was sitting on duty one time back at my squadron. And I was sitting there, and some Marines came into the ready room, and they're just sitting down talking. And we ended up talking about like real estate investing and how they were listening to podcasts like Bigger Pockets and whatnot, and certain books that they're reading. And so that seed was planted at that point. So that was back in early 2021. And so that seed was planted that they knew that I was interested in real estate investing. And then that seed was kind of watered afterward once I got into the SkillBridge program. And then they saw that I was a licensed realtor and closing transactions in Hawaii. And then, so fast forward to this past summer, so summer of 2023, and one of the Marines that I was talking with, who PCS to the Marine Helicopter Squadron over in Virginia, one of his coworkers received orders to come to Hawaii, so he connected me with her to help her buy a house. And so we just closed in January. They bought a $755,000 home, and all from just having small talk on duty. So another example showing you, like, literally anywhere you're just having a conversation and just planting that seed of being able to help people in real estate. And the last example, so this came at a Bible study. So my wife and I help teach in the children's ministry. She's primarily the one teaching. I just kind of click the slides for her. But during the prayer request time, one of the little girls in the class mentioned that they were going to be moving and selling their home, and she just wanted us to pray for a smooth move for them. And then so afterward, I was like, oh, we should tell her parents that we're realtors. And so afterward, and I'd never met her parents. We had seen them come by to drop her off and whatnot, but never really had a conversation with them. And then so after that, and we didn't want to be awkward and come off salesy. So I was just like, oh, hey, here's my business card. Your daughter mentioned that you guys are looking to sell, and both of us are realtors. And that was it. Just handed her a business card, walked off. Didn't like, hey, do you want us to be a realtor? Hey, can I have your phone number? Can we have a conversation? Nothing like that. It was just, give me a business card. Let me know if you need help. And then fast forward about a month or two, and she actually reached out to us. And from that transaction, we ended up selling their home for 1.925 million. We also represented the buyers in that transaction. So that was another $1.925 million sale. And then the buyers had to sell their home in order to buy that house. So that was on the sale of their house. We represented them as well. And that was a $1.6 million sale. So altogether, so you, for people that are newer to real estate and like realtor business, realtors talk about their sales amount in volume. And so you'll hear people say like, oh, I did 10 million in volume last year or something like that, or our team did 50 million in volume last year. And so from this one instance of just handing somebody our business cards, we got 5.45 million in volume. Just to show you how the smallest and shortest interactions that you have can lead to, things that you don't realize. So don't feel like, oh, I don't want to be awkward, or I don't have any way to lead generate with people because nobody really moves to Arkansas or wherever you live. Like any if you seize any opportunity just to have a conversation with people and just to show them that you're personable and you want to help people make their dreams come true with real estate, things like this will come out of nowhere. Any questions on anything I've talked about so far? Another learning point that we got from that particular situation was so when I handed her the business card, I think she might have mentioned, or afterward, we heard from somebody that they were already working with a realtor or something like that. And so we didn't that was literally the last conversation that we had with them before they reached out to us. And so a lot of times people will avoid like, oh, they're already working with realtors, so I'm not going to bother reaching out. And so definitely don't see that as like a showstopper. Yes, they might be working with a realtor, but we ended up finding out that their realtor was like putting out like a lot of burdens on them. Like, oh, you need to basically, even though you've already renovated your house, you need to change all these things. You need to repaint all the outside. You need to redo the roof. All these things that were just adding just a crazy amount of stress to their lives because they were dealing with like retiring from the Navy and then wanted to move back to the mainland, all that stuff. And so when they invited us over to check out their home, and we saw that they would easily sell for the price that they wanted without all that extra work. They're like, oh, these people are way more easygoing, reasonable, because there are realtors out there who will be like, oh yeah, you need to put like at least $50,000 into fixing this place, or I'm just not going to put it on market because it's just going to sit. And they'll like paint the picture to them to make it fit that narrative that they have in their mind, because maybe they have a certain image that they want to uphold as like a luxury realtor or something like that. When in reality, you just need to help the person with the needs that they have. All right, so moving on to the third slide in that deck that I sent to you guys. And so in order to guide your conversations with people, and so it's not just like, hey, I'm a realtor, what's your name? This is a great tool to use. And you guys hear me say it all the time, like when you're first starting out, to just go through your contacts in your phone and just reach out to everybody and just have a conversation, have a forward conversation with them. And there's examples on that slide showing what each thing means and what that looks like. So you're just having a conversation with somebody. Hey, how's your family doing? Maybe ask them a question about something you know about them. Like, oh, I heard your brother just started school. Like, how's that going for him? And then it just kind of leads into each subsequent item on that list. So, oh, so what are you doing for work these days? And a lot of times that'll be the key area where you transitioning from the military into real estate will come up. And so that's your opportunity to plant the seed that you're the realtor friend that can help them. But it might come up in one of the other areas, or you might be able to pick up on a pain point that they have that you can help them with through real estate. And so like on the family topic, oh yeah, we just had twins and we're living in a 1 bedroom apartment right now, and we need more space for our babies. And so you see an opportunity there to let them know you can help them find a house with more than 1 bedroom. And same goes for all the other recreation dreams. So recreation, like, oh, what do you do for fun? Like, oh, I try to do some woodworking on the weekends, but it's kind of hard to do that because I live in a condo where they have sound restrictions or something like that. And same thing for dreams. Like, oh, I have a dream of after I retire, I just want to go fishing every day. Like, oh, Florida is a great place to do that. Have you thought about moving there? Do you need help finding a place to live? Whatever. And then on the last slide, just some pointers to help guide you through those conversations to make it an enjoyable experience. And so the mindset you should have is to depending on the person you're talking to, whether you see it as like a opponent who you're wrestling, or somebody you're dancing with, or if it's like a relay where you're handing off the mic for the conversation. It needs to be kind of like a two-way flow, not just you kind of talking at them like I'm talking at you guys right now. So you want to listen to what they're talking about. So if you're like on your phone or something and you start this conversation, put your phone down, listen, make eye contact, show facial expressions to show them that you're following along with what they're saying. And also you need to be listening into the details that they talk about, because they might tell you a reason they might need your help with buying or selling. Also, you want to share the mic time. Sometimes if I get a little too excited about like talking to somebody, I'll just be like asking them questions nonstop, and they're just like, leave me alone. You're overwhelming me. But you want to just kind of make it a nice flowing conversation. Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you doing? Oh, I'm good. Just whatever I did today. What did you do yesterday? And you want to share the mic, not just blab at them. Otherwise, they're like, all right, their brain kind of shuts off. You kind of see that glazed over look, and then they like, all right, see you later. And then last item is to ask open-ended questions. So don't just, hey, was your weekend good? Yes. Oh, did you have fun watching the Super Bowl? Yes. Going to ask them open-ended questions. Oh, what did you do this weekend? that gives them the opportunity. Oh, I did this, this, and this. Oh, cool. Tell me more about how you went to the mall. Like, what'd you do there? And it just keeps that conversation flowing, gives you the opportunity to listen to what kind of situation they have going on in their lives. Any questions? Anyone wants to share before we break out into groups and practice this with each other? Nothing. Alrighty. So we'll break out into pairs. If you get paired with somebody that is not sitting at their computer, feel free to come back to the main room and I'll practice with you. And any questions on what was about to happen. So we're going to break out in pairs and just have a conversation. That's all it is. If you want to use the forward structure, you can. But try to keep in mind, like in the back of your mind, you're a new realtor and you want to let this person know without kind of like forcing it in their face that you're a realtor. You're just it just comes up in the conversation. So yeah, we have 20 people in the audience. We're going to break out into 10 groups. Alrighty. So Delavar McKee said I'm in a public place, won't be able to participate at the moment. Sounds good. So whoever Delavar gets paired up with, you can just come back to the main room and we'll practice. And so I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and then we'll come back, talk about what we learned, and then we'll be done for the day.
Accountability partners. So it's just some, re-going over some stuff.
Okay, cool. So did you practice the forward technique or did you just kind of have a conversation?
We had more of a conversation, but we started the beginning part of the forward. Just
Okay.
went over family and occupation stuff.
Did it feel like it flowed naturally or was it kind of forced?
Probably both.
Okay.
I don't know how she felt, but it felt to me a little both. Just because we're here for a purpose, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
It worked out.
I do agree. It is kind of awkward. You try to, because you're trying to come up with conversations, but then like as you talk about things, yes, that's when the naturality of it all comes in together. You're talking about things but then yes, then you're like, okay, well, where do we go from here? And that's kind of the awkward part.
Yeah, and the more you practice it, it's like if you just keep that tool in the back of your mind, and you're like at Starbucks waiting in line, and the person like turns around and like says hi or something, and then you can just kind of use that as a tool, like and like if you the conversation is already in play, and you're trying to keep that conversation going, like you can use that as a reference, like okay, what question can I ask them about family, occupation, recreation, dreams? Yeah. But with practice, it flows more naturally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, I was talking to Sierra and ended up kind of going through the family and occupation side of things, and I think didn't even really have to get to the recreation or the dreams part, just because I think that we found a common ground where we were both coming from Japan, and some of the struggles of overseas life and the spouse situation being over there as well. And so I think it was a good kind of indicator that there was a common ground that could be seen. And then utilize to continue on with the conversation from there that could lead to, generation of somebody wanting to buy a house or sell a house from there. So I thought it was a good tool.
Thank you, Maskins. Yeah, you pointed out a great point that I didn't really point out in the presentation, that like finding common ground, and it might be like your favorite sports team, some hobby. In this case, they both had been to Japan, and whatever that common ground is, that kind of helps you to see each other as like not an enemy, or not somebody to like avoid. You see the other person as someone you can have a friendship with. And so yeah, that's definitely a great point. Something to keep in mind, finding common ground, which is something that I try to look when I'm doing a buyer consultation. So setting up a Zoom meeting with somebody that's moving from the mainland. I don't start off the Zoom meeting like, hey, so tell me which kind of house you're looking for. I start off like just, oh, where are you guys living right now? What's life like there? All that stuff. What branch are you in? What do you do in the Air Force? And then you find that common ground, and kind of because a lot of times, like if it's like a Marine client that's moving out here, I'll ask them like, what unit were you with, or like, did you know this person? And then yeah, just kind of helps them to see that you're not just a realtor from a website. You're a human being that wants to actually help them. Well, that's all we've got for today. Try to keep these at 30 minutes. I'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions or talk story. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Aloha.